2016 has been a great year for university research projects that not only engage with the public through the fieldwork that helps deliver them, but also makes a tangible difference to the lives of real people up and down the country. In the second of the biannual Engage Awards, organised and run by the National Coordinating Centre for Public Engagement, 18 varied, inspiring and significant projects spanning 6 categories were nominated at the NCCPE's 2-day Public Engagement Conference in Bristol. The Engage Conference looked at how higher education can continue to work with external partners to deliver successful research, and the nominees discovered at the award ceremony held on the first evening whether their project had won. One of the nominated projects in the Working in Partnership category was a scheme that worked to raise awareness of the situations faced by children arriving in Britain alone as refugees. The Fostering Hope project was run by the University of Bath in conjunction with the Adolescent and Children's Trust. It was a runner-up, and when I caught up with Dr. Justin Rogers, who led the project for the university, I asked him to explain it in a bit more detail.
We've got an ongoing collaboration with a fostering agency in Bristol called TACT. They're a national charity actually, and they run a service in Bristol. We have students that are on placement in the agency, so we work quite closely with them, and it became kind of apparent to us that there was a need for the agency to recruit more foster carers for unaccompanied asylum seeking young people, children and young people. They were experiencing a lack of people coming forward from the public to inquire about fostering this group in particular, and also some of their existing carers were a little bit apprehensive. There were some barriers that stopped them coming forward to foster this group, and some of that was around concerns about meeting cultural needs of the children and young people, but also some of it I think was around misconceptions and stereotypes about this group. Often in the media you'll see negative portrayals of the young people, or portrayals of the young people that focus in on their kind of sad narratives. You know, they're kind of saturated in sadness sometimes, the stories around unaccompanied asylum seeking children. So what we wanted to do is kind of challenge some of that, because what we knew from the foster carers that put themselves forward is that they found it a really rewarding task, and that fostering this group is a really positive experience if you put yourself forward to foster this group. So we wanted to kind of reflect the reality of it, and also reflect the reality of the young people's lives. Often the label of unaccompanied asylum seeker comes first, and the fact that they're children and young people comes second. And we wanted to engage in a project that switched that around and showed these young people as children and young people first.
And you found really creative and innovative ways of allowing the children themselves to do that, didn't you?
Yeah, so what we did, there was 2 kind of key aspects to that. So we undertook activities with the young people to sort of build a rapport with them, gain some trust with them, and to have some fun, you know, and do some fun activities. So we did lots of things, from art workshops and music workshops. We took them climbing at the climbing centre at St Werburgh's here in Bristol, and yeah, did some fun activities that we documented with photographs. But alongside that, we also did a photo voice project. So we gave the young people digital cameras to take photos of their aspects of their day-to-day life. So aspects of their the things they enjoyed in their foster placements, from riding their BMX bikes to birthday parties to selfies like any other young person. There's a whole range of photographs that they took. And then with those photographs, we worked with the young people to develop posters. And it was those posters we then kind of disseminated, I suppose, put out into the public. So we took them to the Celebrating Sanctuary Festival at Queen Square in Bristol, which was in Refugee Rights Week. And we also displayed them at the University Art Space as well. So we started to display those posters in public spaces.
And how have you found that the project has changed perceptions already, and what do you hope the legacy will be?
Yeah, I think in the agency, I mean, if Elaine was here from the agency, she would tell you that it's enabled the agency to have kind of open conversations about the realities of fostering these children, you know, and yes, I think there's been a culture change in the organisation at TACT there amongst their carers, and it's also, yeah, it's helped us. Sometimes it's about planting a seed. Not everyone's ready to foster at this given time. It's a big commitment to foster a child and bring them into your family home, but we're hoping with this project we've planted some seeds, and that there are people that are now considering it and thinking about the providing a placement for children in this situation.
And does a project like this ever stop?
Well, no, we have an ongoing collaboration with them. That's kind of the beauty of it, because what we've done now is we've developed a training package. So we've through the university developed a CPD course that looks at fostering unaccompanied asylum-seeking children, and for the first time we delivered that a couple of weeks ago to the social workers in the agency in the local office here at TACT. We're doing that in the new year with their foster carers. And then we're going to roll that out as a web-based resource that all of the employees at TACT and the foster carers at TACT will be able to use. So that's the next plan, really.
So, we're here because it's all about public engagement. That's what the Engage Awards and the Engage Conference is all about. What have been the highlights of collaborating with an external organisation for you?
Yeah, the highlights, it's been a real privilege getting to know the young people and hearing their stories and seeing the realities of their day-to-day lives, but also, as I say, the kind of energy and enthusiasm people and the openness within the organisation to discuss these matters and reflect on them and try to bring about some change within that organisation and within the wider public as well, I think has been really one of the highlights of the project, definitely.
Well, I have to say, I've found, I've done quite a lot of work with all of the 18 projects, and they're all really inspiring in their own ways. But you're presumably hoping that this will change the way people actually fundamentally think about not only fostering unaccompanied children, but also asylum seekers in general.
Yeah, definitely. There's an element of that. If you look at the media and you see the headline front pages of young people where they're questioning their ages, and there's lots of concerns about large numbers of young people coming into the country. The reality of it is, there's 90,000 unaccompanied children and young people across Europe, and we've taken in 5,000 of those. So we've taken a very small proportion of what the need is, really. These are countries that are neighbouring Europe, that people are leaving because they have to. They're forcibly displaced to their countries because of war, because of human rights abuses. So, it's good for this project to show that those young people that are coming here, although that those situations have happened to them in terms of conflict and human rights abuses, and there's trauma along the way, they're also resilient young people, and that what they really want is safety in this country, and they've got the hopes of their families with them as well, a lot of these children and young people, and they're here to achieve and to make the most of the opportunities they've got here. And because of that, fostering them and caring for them is a really rewarding experience, and that's what we've been trying to get the message across.